Hey, what's up, guys? Myself, Fredo Cervantes. We're here live with the post-game report on LA Sparks Weekly. I got a very special guest with us here today who covers the LA Sparks, John W. Davis from the LA Daily News. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem, sir. Thank you again for stopping by here. And, of course, what a victory. First of all, let's talk about the ending. I mean, it was a 17-point deficit for the LA Sparks. What did they do in the second half to overcome and win this game?
Well, I talked to several of the players after the game, and they basically told me that they just took this game possession by possession. They gave themselves little goals. They said, "Oh, let's get 3 stops, or let's go ahead and win these next couple minutes." And then they finally were able to tie this game up at the end of the third quarter. And then right after that, they lost the lead, but they just didn't quit. And it was very good to see them finally figure out a way to close out a game after winning this game, but losing 3 games before that, which they were in until the final minutes.
Right. It was a crazy 3-game span right here at Crypto.com Arena over the last week. There is another game on Sunday against the Dallas Wings, but Destanni Henderson. I mean, that name itself, if it wasn't for her, they would not have won this game, of course. Her energy on the court, her 18 points she put up today after only playing five minutes last game, and now getting this start here.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, that was a lot of minutes. It just seemed like she played the whole second half. Why do you think Curt Miller took the chance in keeping her in the game? I know she was playing great in the first half, but what was it that Curt Miller maybe made that choice in keeping her in?
She was the energy. She was what they needed. He's been looking for a spark. He's been looking for somebody to be a game changer, and he found one in this game. I mean, she had 10 points at halftime, had another 8 in the second half, 18 points. That was her season high, obviously,
right?
Because she's only played a couple games. But it was one off of her career high as well. So she was just out there hooping, and that's what they needed. And Curt Miller told us that, it was him and the coaching staff, they talked and they said, you know what, maybe we can get some looks that we like if we play Destanni and Jordan together. Obviously, those are their 2 smallest players, but
it worked out.
It worked.
It worked out. That's a combination that maybe Curt
Miller. And they were
Miller.
Playing against trees in there. McCowan's 6'7", Satu is 6'4", Natasha Howard is 6'2", but she plays like she's 6'5". Kalani Brown, when she was in there, 6'7".
They're huge down there. And let's not forget about the great performance of Arike as well. That's what she does on a daily basis. They were able to contain her in the second half. What were the schemes that you saw out there that maybe were holding her back in the second half?
They basically just decided that they were going to lock in and kind of take her out of the offense. She started this game, scored 12 points in the first quarter, and it looked like it was going to be Arike's night. And so at that point, they're like, well, we have to make sure that somebody else other than Arike Ogunbowale beats us.
Right.
And that's what they did. And so Natasha Howard started to get going. Satu Sabali got going in that fourth quarter. But when you take away a team's first option, and the Sparks consider Arike Ogunbowale the Dallas Wings' first option, then you give yourself a chance. And when they tied this game, and then they tied it again and tied it again and tied it again. I mean, they tied it 6 times.
Right.
And you win by 2. I mean, they won by 1 more than they needed to. You have to win a game by 1, they won by 2.
And that was their largest lead of the game, too.
They only led by 2.
Right.
So shout out to the Sparks for getting this done. But when you see a team down 27-10 in the first quarter, you're like, ooh. This can go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be a huge blowout or they're going to have to work their way back into it. And that's what they did. So I feel like the Sparks, they found something in this game. Now, the first game of the season, Zia Cook had 14 points, and she hasn't done that since. Destanni Henderson had 18 points. She may not do this again while she's on this temporary contract, but she proved to everyone in the league that she should be in the league. She also proved that she can be a spark off the bench. And that's all they needed. They just needed one person off the bench to contribute. They got 3 in double figures, including her, 20 from NECA, 18 from Jordan Canada, 18 from Destanni Henderson, and that was the recipe for success. If you can get 56 points from 3 players, you got a chance every night.
That's great. And as well as Azura Stevens and Dearica Hamby had somewhat of an off night tonight.
But they play defense.
They play defense. She was leading rebounded Dearica Hamby tonight. But Azura Stevens in the first game on Tuesday night, she went 0 for 9 from the field, scoreless. In the first 3 quarters, she was scoreless until she picked up that top of the 3 key that she hit down there. Now she got on the board. But what is it going to take for Azura, Dearica Hamby, the other pieces around NECA to kind of contain this team and keep them in the hunt? Because right now it seems like they're falling a little bit down right now.
We've seen Hamby be successful. I think it is, effort. Not necessarily effort, excuse me. I think it's energy. I think that these players, they don't want to tell us because no one ever wants to admit that I'm tired.
Right.
But they're tired. They're in the midst of 6 games in 12 days. I'm tired just covering
Yeah,
the games.
same here.
So I know they're
Yeah.
tired playing in the games. So I think that that's a clue because the last game that they lost, the previous one, NECA told us that she thought a lot of it was fatigue. And so, yeah, they had a couple days off in between that, and so they should feel a little better. But I think part of that is fatigue. But the fact that Hamby's shot wasn't going in, but she still contributed 10
Right.
rebounds. Steven's shot wasn't going in, but she still contributed 7 rebounds, means that these players are still in these games. They're not just removing themselves just because they're not scoring. They're not saying, oh, I'm not scoring, so I'm not doing anything. Another person who I think kind of deserves a shout-out is Chinea Gumake.
Yes.
She was on the court when they came back. I know she only finished with 5 points and 5 fouls. We thought she fouled out, but apparently she only had 5. But I think, her and one and her buckets inside, I know it was only 2, but
That was a big time
That
bucket,
was
though. That
important.
was big time
Yeah.
right there. And this upcoming Sunday they get a rematch again. It's happening again.
Yeah.
They're 2-0 against Dallas this
yeah,
season.
it'll be the 3rd time they play them in a 10-day span,
right.
just like Minnesota.
Minnesota,
the way
so-
these seasons stacking up.
Minnesota 0-3
Yeah.
against them, and now
Now they're 2-0 against the Wings.
oh my! This is just a crazy
the Sparks
NBA.
are 2-0 against the Wings. Believe it or not,
Right.
the Sparks are 2-0 against the Wings.
Wow,
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It is crazy to believe that, and of course, you guys can catch us here again on Sunday afternoon. It will be a primetime game on ABC. Last thought from you, John. What does LA need to do on Sunday to kind of close down this homestand, which it started 0-3? Now possibly trying to get the last 2 here. What do they have to do to win it?
Well, I guarantee you that if they get down by 17 points again, they're
They're
not
not
going to
gonna
win
win
the game. They're not going to win the game. So the
Right.
first thing they have to do is ride that wave quicker. Like,
Right.
do not get down by double digits. Because if you get down by double digits again, I bet you Enrique is not going to cool off. If
no.
Enrique is hot again, we've seen Enrique recently score 41 points in a game, and it was just constant offensive pressure the whole game. She was going back and forth with Jewel Lloyd. So if that's what it's going to take for Dallas Wings to win this game, then that's what it's going to take. Also, you have to give a shout out to the Dallas Wings head coach, Latricia Trammell, who used to be an assistant coach here with the Sparks for the past 4 seasons. Like, she's not going to let them lose the same way back to back.
Right.
So the Sparks are going to have to come up with something different. But if I told you the Sparks shot 35.1% from field and they shot 11.1% from 3 and they won a game, you'll be like, oh, we got to take that. So
2 out of 18 from 3, and they come
can't
out with the
shoot
win.
much worse.
Wow, no, they definitely cannot. And I know they're gonna
Now,
have
they
a
made
night off
22 or
tomorrow.
25 free throws, so that kind of saved them. But they can't shoot much worse.
Right.
Like, you're not going to go 2 of 18 from 3. Hardly ever. You're not
that's
going to
horrible.
shoot 26 of 74 from the field. Hardly ever. So
No, they're not
I
definitely
would, I
gonna
would
do that.
expect I would expect a better game shooting from the Sparks, but then I would also expect a better game from the Wings.
Dallas, right.
Because the Wings aren't always going to shoot 40%, and they're not always going to shoot 20% from 3. As much as both teams' defenses had an impact, both teams' offenses, they simply need to make more shots. They have to be better
They have to
if
be
they
better.
want to win games.
That's right.
So-
You heard it here from John,
But
guys.
check this out. So both teams are 6 and 7. What's going to be cool is that somebody will be leaving this game back to 500.
There it is. And that's something that LA needs to stick to in order for Lexi, because there's no word yet on Lexi Brown's return. Of course, she is one of the biggest offensive pieces they have here. And without her in the lineup, they don't look the same.
Right.
And thankfully, they were able to pick up this victory tonight, stay out of that losing streak they were in, and hopefully they can pick up another win and go 3-0 against Dallas on Sunday. Give me your last remarks here, what you see throughout the LA Sparks season.
I think this was a win that they can galvanize around. This is a win where they learned a lot about themselves. They learned that they can overcome a 17-point deficit and, tie the game and 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 finally get a 2-point lead and then have to tie it again. But then, Jordan Canada scores the last 4 points of the game and they win. So I think they learned a lot about themselves. I think Jordan Canada has found herself a backup point guard. Destanni Henderson is somebody that she can rely on. She can play with her off the ball, or, Jordan doesn't have to say, oh, I got to play 40 minutes again.
No.
I got to play 36 minutes. She knows that Destanni can come in there and do what she has to do to spell her. Like, players have to know that when they step off the court, their backup can keep it going.
Right.
Because if they don't, then they're in their mind, even if they don't want to, they're going to try to conserve energy so they can play the whole game. Well, I got to play the whole game, so I'm going to try to save a little bit. Now she knows that she can go hard as long as Destanni Henderson's here, and she can come in and do that. You still have Jasmine Thomas, who is going to work her way back, but that's going to take a while. So for now, if you come off the bench with Destanni Henderson, it gives them ball handling. They started the beginning of the season with 2 point guards in the lineup, and the other point guard was playing small forward. Lasia Clarington was playing small forward for this team. That was super important. A lot of people don't talk about that. The fact that they had a primary ball handler in Canada, a secondary ball handler in Lasia, and then, honestly, a third ball handler in Lexi Brown. Now they're down to one when they start Canada, Samuelson, and then whoever else in the front court.
Yeah.
You got to have two to make this work. And so I think they found something.
I mean, you heard it there from John W. Davis from the LA Daily News. Again, everyone stay tuned. Sunday afternoon, ABC, 12 o'clock prime time. You'll go ahead and catch John here back at it again. You'll catch me, myself, Fredo Cervantes back at it again. And we'll see you guys again on Sunday afternoon.
Thank you so much, Fredo.
Thank you, John.